Most people will never succeed. Not because they aren't smart enough. Not because they aren't talented enough. But because they never truly decide to succeed. They think success is something you stumble upon. Something luck hands you when the stars align. But success doesn't visit the undecided. It does not appear to the man waiting for permission. It does not reveal itself to the mind still negotiating its own worth. The truth is, most people never succeed because they are at war with their own potential. They want greatness, but they're addicted to comfort. They crave freedom, but they cling to the cage. They speak of ambition, but live like spectators in their own story. You see, mediocrity is seductive. It whispers promises of safety, of rest, of ease. It tells you that tomorrow is a better day to begin. It feeds you soft lies until your dreams grow dull and your fire goes cold. Look around. The world is filled with men and women who once burned with vision, people who could have been extraordinary, but they made one fatal mistake. They accepted average as good enough. They settled, and settling is the silent killer of destiny. The man who settles will tell himself he's being realistic. He'll point to the struggles of others as proof that ambition is foolish. But what he's really saying is, I was too afraid to demand more of myself. Napoleon Hill wrote that, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. But defeat is not the end. Defeat is the test. It's the universe asking, do you really want it? Thomas Edison failed more than 10,000 times before he discovered the light bulb. Henry Ford went bankrupt 5 times before building an empire. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. And Abraham Lincoln, he failed in business, lost elections, and faced heartbreak after heartbreak before rising to become one of history's greatest leaders. So, what separates them from the millions who tried once and gave up? Decision. The decision to persist. The decision to rise again. The decision to own their dream, no matter the cost. But here's what most people never understand. Success is not something you chase, it's something you become. It begins in the mind. It begins with a shift so deep that your entire being starts to move in the direction of your purpose. It begins when you stop asking, can I? And start declaring, I will. Every great achievement in human history began as a decision forged in faith. Faith in the unseen, faith in the possible, faith in the power within. But faith alone is not enough. Because faith without discipline is fantasy. And most people are living in that fantasy. They dream big, but act small. They talk about vision, but spend their days in distraction. They say they want change, but run back to comfort the moment discomfort arrives. Listen to me, success demands sacrifice. It demands that you trade your excuses for effort, your doubts for decisions, your fears for focus. You cannot tiptoe to greatness. You must demand it from yourself. Every morning you wake up, you are faced with a choice, to rise or to repeat. To evolve or to escape. To act on your purpose or to surrender to your patterns. And that's why most people fail. Not because they don't have opportunity, but because they lack ownership. They wait for motivation when they should be building discipline. They wait for clarity when they should be creating it. They wait for someone to believe in them when they haven't yet believed in themselves. The truth is, life will never hand you success. It will only hand you chances. And what you do with those chances determines who you become. There is no destiny written in stone. You are writing it, right now, with your thoughts, your habits, your persistence. The mind is the workshop of creation, Hill said. If your thoughts are weak, your results will be weak. If your beliefs are small, your life will shrink to match them. But if your vision is strong enough, if it consumes you, if it drives you, then no obstacle can outlast your will. The world bows to the man who refuses to quit. Not because he's lucky, but because he's certain. Certainty is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the quiet, unshakable conviction that what you seek is already yours in spirit, and your only duty is to make it real. So ask yourself, what is holding you back? Fear of failure, or fear of success? Because often, it's not failure that terrifies us, it's the responsibility of greatness. Most people are afraid to succeed because success demands evolution. It demands that you leave behind the person who made excuses. It demands that you confront your own laziness, your own doubt, your own self-sabotage. You cannot carry your comfort and your calling in the same hand. One must be released, and until you release comfort, you will always remain average. Average in effort, average in ambition, average in results. But if you dare to let go, if you dare to burn the bridge to your old habits, something changes inside you. You stop being interested in success and start becoming obsessed with it. That's the turning point, the moment mediocrity dies. The moment mediocrity dies, something extraordinary begins to awaken within you, a fire that cannot be extinguished by doubt, by failure, or by fear. It is the awakening of your true self, the self that was buried beneath years of hesitation, distraction, and compromise. The self that remembers what it was born to do. When mediocrity dies, your excuses die with it. The stories you tell yourself about why it's not the right time, why the world is unfair, why others have it easier, they crumble under the weight of truth. And the truth is simple: you are the architect of your destiny. Every thought you repeat, every belief you hold, every decision you make, they are the bricks and mortar of your future. Most people never build consciously. They drift, they react, they follow. They let the tides of life push them wherever the wind blows. But the ones who rise, the ones who create legacies, they don't drift. They decide. They decide what they will think. They decide what they will believe. They decide what they will become. Napoleon Hill called it a definiteness of purpose. It is the foundation of all achievement. Without purpose, the mind wanders like a ship without a rudder. But with purpose, with a mission that consumes your spirit, every obstacle becomes fuel. Every setback becomes instruction. Every failure becomes refinement. The difference between success and failure is not luck, it is clarity. Clarity of vision, clarity of purpose, clarity of belief. If you don't know where you're going, you will never summon the discipline to get there. If you don't know what you stand for, you'll bend under every storm. If you don't know what your life means, you'll let the world decide for you. And the world, make no mistake, rewards indecision with mediocrity. Most people live in the gray. Not fully alive, not completely asleep, just existing. They wake up, they work, they scroll, they repeat. They call it life, but it's not living, it's endurance. They endure the days they secretly despise because they've forgotten that they were meant for more. You were meant for more. You were meant to create, to contribute, to rise, to lead, to expand, but you cannot awaken that power while clinging to comfort. Comfort is the silent assassin of greatness. It whispers, you've done enough. You deserve to rest, but rest becomes stagnation, and stagnation becomes decay. Success is not about working until you collapse, it's about growing until you transform. When you grow, your comfort zone dies a little every day. You begin to crave discomfort because you understand what it truly means, progress. The pain you feel when you push beyond limits is not suffering, it's evolution. It's your old self resisting extinction. It's your ego struggling to survive the rise of a stronger, more disciplined version of you. And if you can endure that pain, if you can welcome it, you will become unstoppable. Think of every great figure in history who achieved something timeless. Edison, Ford, Disney, Jobs. They didn't just build inventions or companies, they built beliefs. They were ordinary men who refused to surrender to ordinary thinking. Edison's genius wasn't the light bulb, it was his persistence. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Imagine that level of resilience. Imagine the conviction it takes to look at failure and call it progress. That is mastery. That is faith in motion. Henry Ford believed he could build an automobile for the masses, a ridiculous dream in his time. He was mocked, dismissed, and sabotaged. But he saw beyond what was. He saw what could be. His vision pulled him forward when everything else tried to pull him down. That's what purpose does. It pulls you through pain. It carries you when motivation fades. Most people never discover that kind of purpose because they never go far enough into the storm. The moment life tests them, they retreat. The moment their plan breaks, they fold. They call it fate, when in truth, it was just weakness disguised as logic. Understand this: adversity is not your enemy. Adversity is the proving ground of greatness. The storm does not come to destroy you, it comes to strip away what's unworthy of your future. It's easy to have faith when everything goes your way. It's easy to believe when results are visible. But real belief begins when nothing is working, and you still move forward. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a decision. It is the choice to keep building when the blueprint seems invisible. It is the strength to keep walking when you see no path. It is the courage to keep speaking victory when the world only shows defeat. That is the faith of every great achiever. That is the faith that rewrites destiny. The problem is, most people don't want faith, they want evidence. They want proof before they move, success before effort, comfort before sacrifice. But the universe doesn't work that way. You receive evidence only after you earn it. You earn it through discipline, Through consistency. Through the quiet hours when no one applauds. Because success isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows. It's built in the moments when you choose focus over distraction. When you choose vision over validation. When you choose the grind over the excuse. The average man gives up when the results don't come fast enough. The great man builds momentum when the results don't come at all. That's the difference, and that is why most people never succeed. They think effort should be rewarded instantly. They believe patience is weakness. They chase comfort, not character. But success, real, lasting success, is the byproduct of character forged in discipline. If you want to become unstoppable, you must fall in love with the process, not the praise. You must find satisfaction in unseen progress, in silent victories, in inner evolution. Because success doesn't come when you're ready, it comes when you've become worthy of it.